Next, we come to a 2021 question. The question reads as, the common carbon metric supported by UNEP has been developed for assessing the carbon footprint of building operations around the world, enabling commercial farming entities around the world to enter carbon emission trading, enabling governments to assess the overall carbon footprint caused by their countries, assessing the overall carbon footprint caused by the use of fossil fuels by the world in a unit type. So this is something that is being caused or done by UNEP. It's aided by UNEP. You would also see that this has been called as common carbon metric. Okay. For each of these other terms, we have other names. For example, there is the overall carbon footprint caused by fossil fuels. We are measuring that with the help of WWF, etc. Okay. So the answer to this question over here is the first one. Why? Because commercial farming entities around the world to enter carbon emission trading, we do not have anything as of now with regard to that. Enabling governments to assess the overall carbon footprint caused by their countries, and for this one, both of these activities are actually helped out by WWF, not by UNEP. So the answer to this question is A, assessing the carbon footprint of building operations. Next, we have a 2021 question. The question reads as, with reference to the New York Declaration on Forest, which of the following statements are correct? So it's talking about the New York Declaration on Forest. It was first endorsed at the UN Climate Summit in 2014. It endorses a global timeline to end the loss of forest. It is legally binding international declaration. It is endorsed by governments, big companies and indigenous communities. India was one of the signatories at its inception. Okay, it's very rarely that you have a climate or a biodiversity or an environment related treaty that India is not part of. So when such a treaty does come, you keep very exceptional note of it. New York Declaration on Forest is one such thing. India was not a signatory at its, or India was not a signatory for this declaration. So that fifth statement, it says India was, is wrong. Wherever you have 5, you can eliminate it. Now it's clear statement 4 is correct because 4 is left back in all the others. Now coming to whatever is remaining. See, the New York Declaration on Forest primarily focused on cutting down all kinds of deforestation or reducing deforestation by your 2030. So there is a global timeline given to end the loss of forest. So that too is correct. Your answer over here is 1, 2 and 4. Let's see what all it is. It was first endorsed at United Nations Climate Summit in 2014. Correct. It endorses a global timeline to end the loss of forest. That is also correct. Legally binding? No, it is not legally binding. It is endorsed by governments, big companies and indigenous communities? Yes. Okay. So the answer to this question is 1, 2 and 4. Next is a 2018 question. We have moved on from 2016 gratefully. Now in 2018, we have the Partnership for Action on Green Economy. Look at the term again, the Partnership for Action on Green Economy, and UN mechanism to assist countries transition towards greener and more inclusive economies emerged at. The options are the Earth Summit on Sustainable Development 2002, the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, that is in 2012, okay. The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change 2015, the World Sustainable Development Summit, New Delhi. See, first of all, the World Sustainable Development is actually, though it's called world and everything, it is a very Indian summit. It's not this. This I told you is related to climate change. It is also not this. Amongst these two, the answer is B, because the 2002 was primarily known for creating an action plan. It's only in 2012 that what happened is, previously your Millennium Development Goals got most of it got, there was achievement happening, and 2012 is where your sustainable development goals came about. When the sustainable development goals came about, this turned out to be like a, economy mechanism or financial mechanism for that purpose. So your answer to this question is B, the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development 2012. The next is a 2018 question. The question reads as, with reference to the Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture, which of the following statements is or are correct? JAXA is an outcome of the climate summit held in Paris 2015. Membership of JAXA does not create any binding obligations. India was instrumental in the creation of JAXA. Okay, so it's Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture. Now, when it comes to the Paris Agreement, one of the major things that happened at that point was ISA. So you had something huge like your Paris Agreement, then you had your ISA happening. So in that meeting, there was not much more happening. So that first statement is wrong. And this was something that was created not even by your climate summit or anything. It was created by your FAO. So that first statement is wrong. And when first statement is wrong, you will see that there is repetition over here, but you will see that all of these are wrong. You have only 2 and 3. So 2 is also correct. Membership does not create any binding obligations. And yes, India is also part of this formation that was there. So the answer to this question is C, 2 and 3 only. Next is a 2018 question which reads as, Momentum for Change, Climate Neutral Now is an initiative launched by, okay. So you have IPCC, you have your UNEP, UNFCCC and WMO. Out of all of this, the one that is clearly focused only and only on climate change is your UNFCCC. The answer to this question is your UNFCCC Secretariat. Next is a 2017 question. The question reads as, consider the following statements. Climate and Clean Air Coalition, CCAC, to reduce short-lived climate pollutants is a unique initiative of G20 group of countries. The CCAC focuses on methane, black carbon and hydrofluorocarbons. The question is, which of this is correct? Okay. First of all, the CCAC was formed by your UNEP. Okay. The year is almost 2012 and that is when your UNEP had formed this. The primary aim of something called as CCAC was to basically understand methane, black carbon, HFCs, tropospheric ozone, any kind of pollutant that was very short-lived was something that your CCAC tried to assess. And only those, not, to reduce its emissions or anything, that, what is the rates of it, what can be, whatever is the learning from this CCAC is what is then later on asked or discussed in your Paris Agreement. So what happens over here is, this is just focused on your short-lived climate pollutants and the answer to this question is B, 2 only. Next, we have a 2017 question which reads as, with reference to Global Climate Change Alliance, which of the following is correct? It is an initiative of your European Union. It provides technical and financial support to targeted developing countries to integrate climate change into their development policies and budgets. It is coordinated by your World Resources Institute and World Council for your Sustainable Development. So, first of all, if it is done by European Union, this third statement will not be valid. Okay. So, either one only will be valid over here and the one that's correct is this. It is an initiative of European Union and these guys have nothing to do with it. Okay. It is not an international thing. It's just primarily related to your European Union. So, third, anything that has a third statement is gone. The answer is 1 and 2. So primarily it is an initiative of European Union and it provides technical and financial support to targeted developing countries to help in climate change related activities. Okay. So the answer to this question is A, 1 and 2 only. Next, we have a 2017 question which reads as, consider the following statements in respect of traffic. They are saying the first term is traffic is a bureau under your UNEP. And second statement is the mission of traffic is to ensure that trade in wild plants and animals is not a threat to the conservation of nature. So traffic is not anything to do with your UNEP. Your sites which is related to your illegal trade in animals is something that is related to your UNEP. But traffic as it is something that was created by your WWF and IUCN. So your first option is wrong. The second option is correct. It's trying to control the trade in wild plants and animals so that it does not become a threat to the conservation of nature. So your answer over here is B, 2 only.